which apparently had a one-man department investigating UFOs for a number of years. Before the existence of this department was even public knowledge, the photo of a large diamond-shaped object did the rounds of various intelligence organizations before vanishing forever. Only a reconstruction of the supposed image remains. Number 9. The Berkshire Rugby Ball. Nobody expects a rugby ball to come flying at them when they're piloting an Airbus 34,000 feet over Berkshire, but that's apparently what happened to one unlucky pilot. Only 20 miles away from Heathrow Airport, the pilot was convinced this mysterious object was going to crash right into the cockpit. He even ducked. It was reported to the authorities as a near miss in 2014, and an investigation was launched, ultimately with no results. To this day, there's no explanation for what exactly he saw. Number 8. Todd Morden UFO Incident. Hypnosis has been known to work wonders for alleged abductees. It certainly did when it was used on PC Alan Godfrey after a close encounter in 1980. He clearly recollected a craft the size of a bus in the northern village of Todmorden. After various calls from the public who were concerned about a herd of cows escaping, presumably spooked by the ship, a stranger named Joseph supposedly took Godfrey aboard, where a number of little creatures, or robots, examined him. Several other officers and a lorry driver also claimed to have seen something similar, adding credibility to his account. Number 7. The Dudley Dorito. The Midlands' most famous alien spaceship, the Dudley Dorito, has been sighted many times in recent years. Not only have there been eyewitnesses, but some of them have even managed to photograph or film the mysterious shape. The object gets its name from the area where it appears and its triangular shape, looking like a big crisp in the sky with a few bright lights to boot. For at least a decade, it's plagued the skies, roughly 5 times the size of a jumbo jet, and people are still at a loss for explanations. Number 6. The Copper Man. The oldest alien incident on our list occurred throughout the 18th and 19th centuries in and around Portsmouth, where a mysterious entity, retroactively called the Copper Man, was repeatedly sighted. While only really known to locals, this story of a human with metal skin, first recorded in 1798, is incredibly weird. A young maid even saw the man with metal flesh walk out of the sea and then go back in again, disappearing. But this frightening creature hasn't been seen at all since 1801. Number 5. The Stanmore Saucer. When police were called out to a woman's house late one evening in 1984 because she claimed to have seen a UFO, they presumably didn't expect to also be faced with the object in question. However, when they arrived, the mysterious craft was still visible overhead and stuck around long enough that they had a chance to do a rough sketch of it. The RAF also reported not having any planes in the sky that evening. As the story goes, the police even attempted, unsuccessfully, to follow it down the M1. Number 4. Ilkley Moor Alien Sighting. On a cold evening in 1987, retired policeman Phil Spencer was out for a walk on Ilkley Moor, Yorkshire, on his way to visit family. He also had an idea to take photographs of strange lights he'd seen on the moors, but definitely got more than he bargained for. He saw a strange being, took a photo, and chased it back to a UFO, which quickly took off. The photo was then analysed by optical physicist and ufologist Dr. Bruce Maccabee. The conclusion was that it had not been edited and the creature was no known animal. Number 3. The Envoy. The Ministry of Defense may have acted shadily on occasion, but in this instance, they apparently didn't think anything of a strange man claiming to be an envoy for an extraterrestrial diplomat who wanted to speak to the authorities. The man said he'd been in contact with aliens, specifically an alien named Algar, since he was age 7, and that Algar was finally ready to reveal himself publicly. Unfortunately, before this could happen, Algar was supposedly killed by some other aliens. The MOD never chased it up. We can kind of understand why though, it does make for quite the story. Number 2. The Falkirk Triangle. When you think of the UFO capital of the world, the first thing that springs to mind probably isn't the village of Bonnybridge, Scotland, also nicknamed the Falkirk Triangle, but it's this area's claim to fame ever since sightings began in 1992. For whatever reason, aliens seem drawn to this patch of land between Falkirk, Stirling, and Bonnybridge. Though skeptics believe that it's all a scheme by a local politician, Billy Buchanan, to attract tourists. But there's still hundreds of reports of strange lights and objects in the night sky. Number 1. The Rendlesham Forest Incident. So significant it's nicknamed Britain's Roswell, what happened at Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk in 1980 has baffled people for decades. Centering on an airbase RAF Woodbridge over a few nights at the end of December, many high-ranking officials claimed to see a UFO come down in the woods. Personnel went on to investigate and found a glowing metal object that left burn marks behind. The incident spooked so many people that the MOD were forced to issue a public statement